Morning, good afternoon. Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from anywhere in the world you're listening to me. Welcome to the KodeCamp 5X Ask Me Anything session. My name is Imole Ayobisiolu, and I'm the Assistant Program Manager at KodeCamp. So tonight is going to be a very interactive, exciting moment because we are bringing together our world-class, delectable, intelligent,
ọdún 1960 orílẹ̀-èdè South Africa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí bá àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó wà nítòsí.
I hope you can still hear me. All right, so tonight we are bringing together our wonderful trainers, people of timber and caliber. You permit all my English today because these are seasoned, world-class, people that have wealth of experience. We are talking about people with titles. Yes. And it's going to be an engaging and interactive session. So whether you're here to learn about the AI tracks, the training itself, the internship, or how to make the most of this journey, you are in the right place. So yes, before we dive in, I would like to ask three people, why are you here tonight? Like, just tell me why you're here. We'd like to hear from you. So you start with telling us your name, the track you picked, and why you're here. Yes. So let me check through. All right, Chioma Aguluka. Hi, Chioma. Good evening. You can unmute your mic. I'd like to hear your voice. Okay. Chioma, you can unmute.
Okay, good evening. I tried to unmute, but I was receiving an error.
Yes.
Okay,
you're
for
here
me,
now.
I chose AI for developer.
Interesting. So you're a developer.
Yes.
Interesting.
Backend.
Nice one. Backend. I love that. All right. So you've not told us why you are here, Chioma. Before you go back to being muted, why are you here? What are you looking forward to tonight?
Oh, okay, I'm here for the information because AI has been a whole new interesting field to me. So I just any and every information that can help me get onboarded easier.
Good one. Don't worry, you're going to get loaded with enough nuggets, enough information that you're here for. All right. So the next person I'll be calling is Samson Adobafo. Please, if I didn't pronounce that as I should, I'm really sorry. Samson, you can unmute. We'd like to hear from you. Samson, can you hear me? All right. While we wait for him, I'd like to call on John Amber. Okay, John Amber Mike is not here. Okita Damian. I hope I'm pronouncing these names well. Permit me, I'm a Nigerian woman, so please. Okita, you can go ahead. We'd like to hear from you. What is going on, Okita? If you are speaking, you are muted. We can't hear you. All right. Maybe they're having stage fright. David Mbede. Hey, good. Please, I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right. David, please, you can unmute. All right.
Okay. Actually, it's pronounced David Mwede, but that's fine. Good evening, everyone. So
Good
my name is
evening.
David. Yeah. So and the track I applied for is AI for developer, cause I'm a developer myself, front end. So and why I applied for it is because, I mean, ever since AI has done a lot in the tech ecosystem, so it's something I would love to explore more and get more information about. So yeah, that's why I applied. Thank you.
All right. Interesting. It's like it's only the developers that came to tonight's meeting. A round of applause for the developers in the meeting. So I'm a developer myself. If I say so myself. So don't worry, we are together in this journey. All right. Thank you so much, David. Before we dive into the question and answer session, I want us to um take a moment because I want to bring somebody on stage. This person to me is I always call him daddy because is a father figure, and not just to me, to many of us. And you know, one of the things I always appreciate about him is because his vision has birthed a lot of possibilities. Personally, my career journey started with KodeCamp. And if I'm shouting mom in tech, ladies in tech, this in tech, it is because at one point in my life, I encountered CodeCamp and CodeHouse, and it changed my trajectory. And so this person is the CEO and founder of CodeHouse Solutions Planet, which is the parent company for CodeCamp. Please, I'm not hearing the drum rolls. I'm not seeing the emojis. I'm not seeing the clap. This is uh a man that has 35 years experience in tech. So many of us are not even up to that age. And you know, when it comes to machine learning, when it comes to this same person, when you're in sprint session and he's writing codes and he's merging, correcting, I always look and be like, wow, at this level, he still is words are even failing me at this point because this is an embodiment of, you know, skill, embodiment of knowledge. I used to say it proudly that I've not seen any programming language that engineer cannot write. Welcome, please, with your clapping emojis as I bring on stage engineer Aniebet Udo. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Imole. uh, well, it's a very interesting introduction. Thank you very much. Um, it's good to be here. Um, and I'm also very happy to see a lot of, should I say, familiar names, familiar faces. I think over the last couple of years, I've had to, I've had the privilege of meeting or the pleasure of meeting so many people in the course of what we do in Code House and in Code Camp. And I'm very happy that I'm seeing a lot of old faces here. So thank you. So, Imole, tell me what I'm supposed to do next.
All right, sir. So you're going to be talking about CodeCamp 5X, this AI
Okay.
edition, what CodeCamp is about, and the new AI-driven edition. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I believe a lot of people here already are very familiar with Code Camp in one way or the other, or Code House in one way or the other. And so talking about Code Camp, when you hear 5.0, so this is 5x. So 5x kind of signifies extension of 5, right? And I'll explain why we chose that nomenclature, right? You can either call it 5x or 5.x. I actually call it 5.x, but I think 5x seems to carry more you know more people weight, So 5.0, let's start with 5.0. CodeCamp 5.0 just means that the fifth iteration. CodeCamp, we run one CodeCamp cohort each year, one CodeCamp bootcamp each year. And we started in 2021. So this is the fifth year. And CodeCamp is basically um, the embodiment of the dreams and visions of a lot of people, right? Which is we want to democratize. We keep using that word democratize, right? But maybe not in the right context, but in this particular case, we want to democratize tech knowledge. We want as many people as possible to get into tech, and not just superficially or what they hear about it on social media or in textbooks or whatever, but to actually get to touch and feel tech and to understand it, to become familiar with it, to use it, to benefit from it, to empower themselves with it. That is a purpose, and vision of CodeCamp, right? And, we have been doing it. So if you look at the history of CodeCamp, which we just, typically there are certain slides. I don't know, maybe when Engineer Lawrence comes on board, he's soon going to join this call. He's going to show us some of the slides about the history of CodeCamp and how it started. But really, we started off with typical skill sets, tracks that everybody talks about: web development, front end, back end, product design, you know. And then we did a bit of later on we added mobile. Okay, we started with mobile as well, and then later on we added the likes of product development, CAD, and then we went back to the basics. So it's always been revolving around building products, typically normal products, web-based products with mobile interfaces or mobile, front ends, the design of it, and so on. Now, in 5.0, we decided to do something new because it's something we call a software development life cycle. So when you are building software, it's end to end, right? So what we were doing was somewhere in the middle. We were just focusing on building, designing, and building. And then we added DevOps later on in 4.0, we added DevOps. So we design, we build, we deploy. But that's not the entire cycle of software development, right? So in 5.0, we did something extra as well. We added product management, which is the beginning of the cycle, and we added QA/QC software testing, which is at the end, right? So you now have a full cycle that starts from um, product management. Of course, it runs all the way through product design, product development, which includes the front end, the back end, and the mobile. And then the DevOps, which is the deployment. And then we added software testing, which is QA/QC. So all of this work together into what we call the software development lifecycle. So it was neat, right? It is neat. 5.0. By the way, 5.0 is a milestone because it's the 50th of CodeCamp. But it wasn't enough because, as most of you are aware, AI has basically taken over the world, in the last 3 or 4 years, right? AI came from nobody knows what AI is to everybody's talking about AI and everybody's using AI products. And a lot of people don't even understand some of the tools that they're using. They just know that these are very miraculous tools. It's amazing what you do with AI these days. But very few people really know how these things work. And um, another key milestone for Code House is that next year we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary. And one of our objectives or our targets in Code House is Code House is going to transform into an AI company. So that doesn't mean that we will stop what else we are doing, the web development, software development, the training and mentorship. It doesn't mean we'll stop the DevOps or mobile product development or the research and commercialization. It doesn't mean we'll stop any of those. Rather, it means that we will infuse AI into it. In other words, we will become an AI first company. That's a proper way of putting it. In those days, you used to talk about mobile first, mobile first. Now, the world today is AI first. So what that means is that right from the beginning of the conceptualization of any product, you start thinking about AI right from the bat, right off the bat. Unlike currently, a lot of people are just kind of trying to attach AI into their software products or into their workflows and all of that. But the world is getting to a point where these days I keep telling my designers, think about how would you design an interface that lends itself to prompting and other things, right? So, but to become an AI first entity, we have to have capacity, right? So in our usual way, as we are developing our own capacity internally, we decide to share it with the whole world. So let everybody also learn, because truly the training that we wanted to do was capacity building training in AI and AI tools and AI techniques and AI methods for Code House personnel. That this is how this really started, Code House staff. But then we don't believe in training a few people. We always believe in training at scale. And this is what CodeCamp is all about, is training at scale. So we just moved with that idea. Everyone who wants to learn will get an opportunity. So we decided to come out, use the CodeCamp platform and train as many people as are interested on AI skills and AI, all about AI. So the objective of CodeCamp 5X, and why we call it 5X is we could not wait for CodeCamp 6.0. 6.0 is too late. We could not wait a whole year before we start talking about training and building capacity machine learning. There are a lot of people that will tell you, I know machine learning, but no, people don't know. People don't know. I have done machine learning for 23 years. I first started studying neural networks in 2002. That was when I was doing my youth service. And I have built a lot of applications, both training and inference, right? With machine learning. I've trained a bunch of people as well, right? In fact, one of the people I trained is going to be one of the trainers in computer vision during this cohort, right? So what I'm saying is I have enough experience to tell everyone on this call that most people don't even know much about AI. We just know how to use it. It's just like somebody saying, I know how to use Excel, in fact, today we're having a discussion. Somebody say, I know how to use Facebook, but most people think they know how to use Facebook, but they don't. You just know how to read your wall or your feed. That's all. But Facebook has so many things in it that most people don't know how to use. So in the same way, most people don't know anything or that much about AI, about machine learning. So the future is going to be dominated by those who are AI literate. Just like in those days, it was just plain literacy, and then later it was computer literacy. Now, if you are not AI literate, you will be left behind. So we want to expand the knowledge, and this is the beginning. So CodeCamp 5X is kind of an extension of CodeCamp 5, a version 5.5, if you want to call it, or 5.x, right? Or an extension of 5X for us to kickstart the AI revolution. And when I say kickstart the AI revolution, I'm not saying it has already started, but in this case, Nigerians being able to have the knowledge and the depth of skill to build AI products or to get jobs in the AI job market. And that is what CodeCamp 5X is all about. So I think Imole will talk about those who will be doing the training. But for me, I'm going to present or train two courses. The first one is what I call machine learning core or machine learning fundamentals or machine learning foundation. This is where you learn how to design, build your own models, train your own models, and fine tune your own models. You learn how to use all the tools from TensorFlow, PyTorch to the latest ones like JAX, right? And how to do all the regressions and classification and all whatnot. So I will be teaching that end to end. And then the second course I'll be teaching is AI for developers, which is you as a developer. By the way, the prerequisite for that one is that you have to um, be a developer. Because if not, it will not make much sense to you. So for that one, you will learn how to leverage AI both as a tool to increase your own productivity as a developer times 10, times 100 even. But secondly, how you can build products using the latest techniques, products that will sell because they will be imbued with AI capabilities. So as a developer, you need to start asking yourself, how can I build products imbued with AI? So let me just stop there. I think we have a bunch of other things and other opportunities which we'll talk about. But this is really what KodeCamp 5X is about. It's about building the skill capacity, the skill economy at scale. But in this case, we are focused specifically around AI. So that's it. Thank you for listening. Imole, back to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Value, value, value. If you are gaining value, please, in the chat, type value, value, value. Because yes, that is a whole lot of nuggets. And right now, we will be introducing other trainers. We've introduced Engineer Nebet, and he has told us that he's taking the machine learning core and AI for developers. The next person I'll be introducing, please, today you will permit me as I'm introducing them, because when you talk about people that have influenced positively, personally, they've influenced me positively, even as when it comes to Code House and KodeCamp, they've also influenced that space positively. And when you hear when you hear the word action, let's get it done. It has to be done now. Why are you still waiting there? Get it done. Yes, we need to get it done. This person is also a father figure, because these people are just too much. I would say he's an embodiment of, skill, knowledge. When you hear Oga the law, this is the next person I'm calling. I know Code House and KodeCamp people already know who I want to call. So let me not, without further ado, I'm bringing on stage the managing director for Code House, which is the parent company of KodeCamp, Engineer Lawrence Akubwe. Welcome, sir. Over to you, sir. Please, I hope you are clapping. Don't stop, don't stop. Engineer Lawrence, sir, you can unmute your mic.
All right, can you hear me? Sorry, I had to switch my
I hear you.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I need to use my I was on transit. That was apologies. I was walking. So I just managed to settle in now. So let me just put on my video for a bit. All right, thank you so much. I've listened carefully. I don't think I need to overflog anything. So I will do a little bit of I use slides. I don't mind like using slides because it makes the work easy for me. More or less. So am I permitted to share slides?
Yes, you're permitted, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. So let me know when it's up. So
It's not up yet, sir. It's starting. The screen sharing has started.
okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. You can see it now, right? Hello?
Yes, yes, can see it.
Yes,
Okay,
it is up now.
all right, good evening, everyone. So it is a great thing that we are here. I'm just going to speak a bit about KodeCamp, and then Engineer already said I'm going to share some. I wasn't going to, but I'm gonna sing talk. So let me just follow suit. So KodeCamp has been. Hello, I can hear myself. Hello.
You can go on, sir. We can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, welcome everybody to the call. So I'm just going to just scan through what KodeCamp is all about. So at some point we decided that we can actually do this, trying to grow the scale economy, which is basically training people. Skill is actually goods and service that can be bought and can be sold. So whenever you see building the scale economy, building the scale, is actually on this slide, that's actually the goal of the whole thing. Like the way people manufacture products and sell, why can't we look inwards? One of the things that people pride us for is the population, right? While we are crying unemployment, another bigger problem is employability as well. So you might have like booming population, but that population has to be useful. So they have to be employable, for instance. So we notice that there is a problem between our own story and others that have big population like China, right? India. So these two countries, of course, actually is leading in the world of technology, manufacturing, and all that. And if you noticed, what they're actually using, okay, is this particular phenomenon called population. But when you now come to us, the most populous Black nation and all that, why are we not as prominent? Okay, maybe in the music industry, yeah, entertainment, yeah. But when it comes to the things that actually changes civilization, I don't really think that we have actually occupied our space. So we actually said, okay, let us even start with the ones that we can. Maybe we might not be able to reproduce Shenzhen in China or Silicon Valley in Southern California and all that, but maybe let's look at what we have. And what do we have? Population, people, especially young people. We are among the countries that have the biggest young people, biggest growing rates of the young population in the world. So that is actually the essence. So why we have this population? Why can't we go and harness it? That's how we started the whole idea of KodeCamp. So the economy now we are building is that of skill. Of course, you will know what skill is. Like there's education. What people understand as education is actually going to school, that's schooling. But you said no, right now the world is actually shifting to what people can do, which is the skill. So I usually use the acronym CSEE. How do people see you? Number one is skill. Number two is education. And number three is experience. So these things are very important. Just note it down today. Please, whatever you are doing now, make sure that these three things, people see you, very well. Again, skill. Two, education. Education is acquisition of knowledge, not going to school. I want you to correct that. You can be educated, you can be well educated, even more than those that are in school, if you can use some of these things. So what we are going to be doing in this is part of education, educating people about AI. It's simple, acquiring knowledge about AI. So when you apply knowledge and when you acquire knowledge and apply them, that word application is actually using that knowledge, and that is how you get skill, right? So you cannot kind of divide any of them. So you have to acquire the knowledge, then apply it, that's the skill. But when you apply it over a long period of time, make mistakes, correct and everything, what are you trying to do? You are trying to increase your experience. So if you are very observant, this is what the world needs right now. Please don't get distracted. It is not a certificate. I know some of our parents are still bound on this certificate thing. It's already failing, in case you have not noticed. I'm not sure if Kodak wants to employ people right now. Some of you there are some people on this school are probably doing internship. Man, what you're getting internship, there's no school in the world that you can get that. That's knowledge, that's application, that's education, right? And when you probably do internship with us, you notice that, man, there's a difference between knowing something and applying it in the real world. That's now we are skill. So that's what KodeCamp is all about. What you see there is addition to this slide people have been seeing. So we are proud to announce that KodeCamp is going to soon become a trademark in Nigeria. So we have officially registered with federal government registry. Okay, so is a brand that a lot of people are going to be proud of very soon. So it's no longer going to be business as usual. The process has already started. Very soon we shall be announcing our successful registration. So KodeCamp is going to become a trademark of course, people know what trademark is. It means that it's now a brand of its own. It's, of course, before you register trademark, there are a lot of requirements, so I don't want to go through all those things. So we are past the first phase, and that's what you are seeing on this slide. We have been offered that registration notification, the trademark and everything. So I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the students, appreciate the I call them heroes. I don't know. That's how I see them. Do you know why they are heroes? They are heroes because that word is not a careless was formation. It's something that we call because, man, we are living at a period where things are very hard. And imagine people in this hardship decided to, go above and beyond their own personal problem to stretch out their hands and draw people to, and contribute to the impact of growing the scale economy. So for me, they are heroes. Yeah, it's not every time, it's not everybody, it's not all the heroes that we are keep. There are some people that, man, what they do is unimaginable. So if you have joined any KodeCamp, and that's what is going to happen here as well, you see how people are dedicated to do something, as if it is even a paid program. Like the seriousness is top notch. Guys, these people are not under like federal government level minimum wage salary. I'm just telling you guys. So I really appreciate that people have, the grit. Let me use the grit to hold this thing. Year one, year two, year three, year four, and now the 50th year. So I want to really appreciate everyone. We promised ourselves that if we cannot run it till 5 years until the 50th year, we should not even think about trademark. So what we are even seeing here is because we have crawled, we have swum against the murky waters and everything, and against all odds, we have survived. So we said once KodeCamp 5.0 starts, we are going to register a trademark because it shows that we are serious. Because a lot of people rush to do CSC registration, they've not even really formed the company very well inside their head and all that. A lot of people are looking for immediate self-aggrandizement and all that, but in our principle, we said, man, if you cannot be resilient to face, I am telling people the history behind it. It's not like we couldn't have actually registered it, but man, are we really serious about what we wanted to do? So right now we can beat our chest. The numbers are there, and that's what I'm going into now. So it's actually to upskill Nigerians, of course, Africans, and youth at scale. That word is very important to address the growing global demand is skill talent. So having said that, this is simply our pyramid. This is not, it's not today we want to explain all these things, but I just want you to have a feel of it. If you are meeting us for the first time, we have a community, a growing community for that matter. We have not really, to be honest, we are not here to like bobo anybody. This is one area we need to do very, very well. Anyway, step by step, we are coming there. We have actually built our LMS, but right now we're just using the LMS for the boot camp that you have in number 3. For that LMS, you want to get to the point where people can actually come in and take a self-paced, because right now we are focusing on the boot camp. That's number 3. It runs just once a year. So the 5.0 you are hearing means that I've done this thing for 5 years. So 5x, you understand, is something, it's KodeCamp extension, extended, whatever you can coin it, you understand, it doesn't matter. Some people call it extra, whatever, it is X, right? So it is happening in the 50th year, right? And Engineer has given you, I'm going to come to that very soon. So then, of course, we have developed our internship right now. We have KodeCamp internship. And then for those that did KodeCamp 4.0, some of them moved into the unpaid internship. And currently, some of them that are on this call are enjoying the paid internship. We like call it enjoying, they are still learning. It's really very, very tough, actually. So this is what KodeCamp is all about. At the end of the day, the ultimate is to get a job. The job can come in form of international job, whether it is remote or on-site if you have to travel. The second thing, it could be a local job. Local jobs can equally be remote. That's job in Nigeria. It could be remote. It can equally be on site. And the third arm of it, you can equally start your own company. So when you talk about job placement, you're not talking about really just working for people. Even starting is just being engaged and being empowered. So that's the whole thing. So you have done the numbers. I've talked about this. Yeah, this is real. Let me just go straight to the numbers. The first year, 2021, 3,000 people signed up, only 186 finished. 4,922 in 2022, only 354 finished. 2023, just like that. So you have the numbers. So if you see the last year, the arrow is now pointing into an internship. So 170 people finished that of 2024, and about 70 people entered the internship. Okay. This is KodeCamp in a nutshell. This is outdated, by the way. We are talking about 5 years now. We're talking about more than 17 tracks. Yeah, 3 levels has been completed. Finalists, there are now more than this. Of course, some people are already in the finalists for KodeCamp 5.0. So you have had more than 15,000 registrations so far. I have more than 60 mentors, combined years of experience to be calculated later. On YouTube now, I have over 1,000 videos. I can't remember and all that. So this is just in a nutshell. So for the mentorship session, we have had a lot of, thanks to the likes of Imol that was actually moderating this session. IK is the grit master. Grit means die spirit. You have to have it before you survive here. And the likes of course, the Okoro will be introduced very soon. So the internship is ongoing for the people that enjoy 4.0. I hope 5.0's internship will be better. We have 58 people that completed the paid internship. A lot of people are now on the paid internship. And the paid internship is project-based. And we're talking about clients that actually pay, So you think, because at the end of the day, why are we even doing this? Then let me tell you, man, there are a lot of people doing training now. So we must do something different. A lot of people are doing training, ALX, Google Scholarship, 3MTT and all that. So what's special? So if you finish a training, what is special about you? You are just like one of those that have done one of those trainings. There is Udemy, there is a lot to ground. But you see, when you do internship, what we are trying to do is to remove you from that pool. You understand? Because that pool is made up of a lot of people. And once a lot of people there, the competition is still. But guys, ask anybody that has done either unpaid internship or paid internship. The experience is different. If you attend any interview, you're going to ace it. The confidence is over the roof because you'll be flogged. You'll be criticized. You'll be corrected. You'll be guided. You are going to see the thing in real life. Some of the work, when you debug like this, that's when you know that you're a programmer. Okay. So I equally encourage some of you. So we have done, these are the companies that people are working. I don't want to go through all of them. This is an example of somebody that have completed the whole pyramid. Okay. Sheriff is his name from, self-paced, bootcamp, internship, and currently job. Of course, we are working with Tightline. Is an American company. He went through what they call level up program. So why can't we have more people? We are trying to. Even one of the tools we are going to be using for this KodeCamp is going to be based on one of our friends in America that have developed an AI tool for developers as well. So I think Janebe will talk about it. So the whole thing is about the 10th anniversary. I'm going to stop here. If you check, we just have 3-point agenda in 10th anniversary, hits 10 figures. Then pay attention to the middle one. We want to become AI centric. That's what Diabetes is talking about. So we invite you to prepare for the 10th anniversary. I don't know how it's going to be, but it is worth celebrating. KodeCamp is a big part of Codehouse right now. So
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Lawrence. I think I'll just work with the assumption that you're done. I think probably network kicked you out or something. But please, can we just give him a round of applause? Thank you very much, Engineer Lawrence. Okay, so to move on and introduce the next trainer on our list, who is also going to be a part of the KodeCamp 5X. He's no other person. Okay, I think Mr. Lawrence, Engineer Lawrence is back. Would you love to round up, sir? Can you hear me? You're muted. You may want to unmute your mic.
Okay, I thought I rounded up. I even noticed that I was off the call. So this is the last slide. So the outlook for code house. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
So this is the last slide. So did you hear when I was talking about 10th anniversary?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So this is what I say. So because of this is the slide I was talking about. How did he land here? I said for the 10th time, I want everybody to understand the journey. So we're already preparing October, exactly this month, next year. We are going to be celebrating our 10th anniversary. We specifically chose October because October is the 10th month. So we are going to celebrate our 10th anniversary. If you check the second bullet point for the 3-point agenda, that's what consensus in this call to become AI-centric plus other we don't know for now. There might be other things that are going to be added, but House should become AI-centric. That was what Engineer Eva was trying to say. So that was why, okay, we actually landed here. And that's why we're on this call. We cannot wait for the 10th anniversary before we begin to build up to it. If you want to become an AI-centric company, you have to lead it the way. So that's why we are calling it KodeCamp 5X. It's an AI special cohort, right? And this community is already started with this course. So that's it. You are welcome to the call. I'm going to be taking just one part of it. The tools, I think this is it. Yeah, so I'm going to be, there are five tracks. So the first track, I never have mentioned it. These are the main guys, man, the data science and machine learning core. Okay, so I'm going to be taking track to this AI application. So I'm going to stop here. It's all about, of course, productivity tools and all that. So, I think this is it. I think there will be a question and answer where some of the things will be trashed. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Right, thank you so much, Engineer Lawrence. Okay, so we'll move to the next trainer, and he is the trainer for the Agentic AI. Agentic AI is the lead ML developer in Codehouse. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a clap, and of course use your emoji, of course. Not that we can hear your voices, right? Well, please let's welcome Engineer Anthony Okoro. Engineer Anthony Okoro, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Ikes. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm unable to share my my video. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
I'm unable to turn on my camera because I'm still working and my camera is still disabled. And I don't want to scatter the settings because I'll still get back to work after this session. Well, I work currently as the lead AI and AI artificial intelligence and machine learning engineer at Codehouse, and I've worked on projects that outside Codehouse anyway. I've worked on projects that helped to improve some of the leading language models today. Language models are really more like the latest thing in artificial intelligence, and by extension, using those language models to power autonomous agents. Agentic AI is really the most recent thing in AI. So I'll be leading the agentic AI track. And one important thing about agentic AI is for you to develop AI agents, you need to have some knowledge of software development. You need to have some knowledge of machine learning, particularly large language models, since those are what power agentic AI agents. And well, I think I'm talking about AI agents and agentic AI. We might not really know what that refers to. So I would just want to say that an AI agent is just simply a system that observes its environment and tries to make some sense out of those observations. It reasons based on the observations it made, and it comes up with a plan for actions it can take, still based on those, informed by those observations. And then it goes ahead to take those actions, making some changes in its environment. And it typically does this without constant human intervention. So AI agents tend to be autonomous, just as you can send somebody to go, hey, go achieve this task for me. And if the person is smart enough, the person can go through the different steps in achieving that task without coming to you each time to ask for, okay, hey, what's the next step to do? Oh, I'm confused about this. So an AI agents are systems that are smart enough that you give them a task, they observe the environment, get the necessary information that they need, reason through. Well, even the instruction you give is part of the observation of the environment. They reason through everything, work out a plan for achieving that task, and then go ahead to achieve the task based on the skills that they have available to them. Such skills could be carrying out some calculations. It could be turning on your air conditioner and monitoring it, your room temperature, so that when it gets to a certain temperature, it maintains that temperature by increasing or reducing the air conditioner as the need may be. It can be boiling egg for you in the morning and making your coffee so that you just get up, you brush, your breakfast is ready, assuming your breakfast is just egg and coffee. It can be checking your emails, deciding on whether the email should be ignored or it can generate a response and set that response. It can schedule a meeting based on that email. It can alert you. Almost, there are a lot of things that agents can do, but of course, somebody has to build those agents. And so this track is essentially about how to build those agents, those AI agents that can help you automate a lot of repetitive tasks and leaving you free to use your human intelligence on things that are more meaningful, things that where you really achieve the best value by applying your human intelligence. I will just leave it here for now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Antonio Coro. Okay, and then of course, last but not the least, he is a product of KodeHaus. A very troublesome one when he was around, but he has grown to become someone who is a more like a force to be reckoned with in the AI space. Of course, a computer vision to be more precise, and he goes by the name Daniel Etugudo. So that's the trainer for computer vision. So Daniel, if you're on the call, please just say a few. Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead. You can hear you.
All right. Sorry, I'm a little bit on the road right now. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel. I'm really excited to do this because, like, as I left put out, I literally like just thinking about how I can pay back to the community, like coming back to do something. But the more I think about it, the more I keep on going for, like, in this time. All right. Okay. My name is Daniel. If you put out from a fiber, I'm a kid. Bro, I was in good. Like, I'm so excited because This is the place I got brought up. This is the place I take this time to go learn. Like 2018, around this time, then around December, I was like waking up every morning by 8 a.m. and trekking down to the neighbor's house and going back home by 8 p.m. for the whole Christmas. That's what I was spending my Christmas. As I got to learn deep neural networks, mathematics, and Python. And since then, like, everything changed, and I'm wherever I am right now. All right, you guys hear me? Yo, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Speaking a bit, I don't know if you could take that again and be a bit more audible.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, that's better now. Better. Thank you.
All right, I'm sorry, I was connected to my earbud. All right, so I said like um I'm really excited for this opportunity because like some years back, this is where I was brought up, like in 2018. I literally like was trekking from my house to like engineer nearby's house, like distance, December, like learning AI, learning deep neural networks, learning Python. And then when I left, like I've been thinking about a way to put back to the community, and I've not been able to do it because of like distance, like thinking of like coming back to Eke to contribute. So like having this opportunity is a big thing for me. All right. As I said previously, I'm from Eke. I'm Daniel, and I'm gonna be teaching computer vision. Um, because that's like what I'm really good at a little bit. Been like doing that for some pretty much small years right now. So computer vision obviously just has to do with the part of AI where you teach AI how to see, like see the environment and can tell things, like because right now our computers can like tell things. They can just type, do whatever thing you want them to do, but they can't like tell if this is really a human being passing or if this is a car passing or like if this animal I'm seeing is sick or if this dog is sick or anything. So basically what I'm gonna be doing is like you're gonna come like the book come with like zero knowledge of computer vision, like you know, and then you're gonna leave with a knowledge where you're gonna be able to teach computers to see things, to know things, to understand things, and to do things like, seeing people and counting people and a lot of several things. So pretty much that and a lot of other things like security, agriculture, transportation, basically like just teaching computers to see. So at the end of the session, but I really want to say thank you like for giving me this opportunity, for making me to teach, to mentor. I'm so grateful. And I'm not gonna let it down. Yeah, thanks. Yo,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. And yes, of course, we are glad to actually have you.
Yo, can you guys hear
have,
me?
yes, we can hear you, Daniel.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, and yeah, good to have you back. Of course, with us. Yes, it's been a long time, and yes, you will come back to Eket whether you like it or not. Okay, so thank you very much. Yeah, so everyone, that's the trainers, right? That's loads of experience that's going to be dropped on you all, well, including myself actually, because well, I won't I won't miss this opportunity. So at this moment, the program manager is also going to be a student. Yes, it's an opportunity that I wouldn't also want to pass me by. So it's something I believe each and every one of us should take very, very, very seriously, right? Okay, so I think that's about that. Now moving forward, of course, down to the main event, the main reason why we are actually here, right? The AMA session. I believe a form was dropped for us to, drop our questions, right, on the form. Yeah, but if you have a question, right, at this point, all you need to do is just raise your hand and it will be attended to. Of course, those on the phone, we will attend to them also. But for those of you who would want to ask your questions vocally, please, the AMA session is officially kicking off at right about now. So if you have questions, right, about the CodeCamp 5X, right, about the training, about the learning, whatever question, whatever clarity you actually need, this is the moment for you, whether it's about the tracks, the learning experience, the training structure, start date, whatever it is that you need clarification on, right? Yeah, this is the time for you to do that. So just raise your hand and I will attend to you. Please ensure you do not unmute your mic unless you are called upon. Thank you very much. So how many hands do I have? I just have one. So when I get about three, we'll start. If I don't, then we'll just go straight to, I'll just pull up the questions from the form. Okay, so I think I have two. So I think we can actually just kick this off. Thank you very much. So I'll start with the Ginika. Yes, if you want to direct your question to someone, that's also fine. Yeah, but you can also just go ahead. So Ginika, go ahead.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for donating the program. I appreciate this. Okay, my question is this: for the AI application and tools, I wanted to find out, is it just about, because I went through the brochure and I don't really understand, is it just about getting the knowledge or familiarizing yourself with it, or we are going to be really taught how to integrate those AI tools inside our codes, like, and how would that happen? Is it that there is a particular language, maybe it's for front-end developers? Because me, I'm a mobile app developer, I use Flutter, so I don't know, is it just for a particular language, like the front-end developers? So I don't know if my question is clear.
Okay, so I think your question actually points to AI for developers, not actually AI distant applications and tools, right? The question actually points more to AI for developers. So I think I'll call on Engineer Niebet to respond to that. Engineer Niebet, over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. So first of all, let me again try to clarify. AI applications and tools is targeted at people who are non-developers, right? It's a no-code approach. It's basically about how you build your productivity with tools using prompts and so on. So maybe Engineer Lawrence will talk a bit more about that. It's not about embedding intelligence into your products or your code. When it comes to embedding intelligence in your code, that is AI for developers. And to answer your question, yes, it's going to be about the different methods and techniques, right? And libraries that you can use and how to use it. So it's not just about the libraries themselves or the tools themselves, but how to use it, the techniques, the best practices, and so on. And on the question of whether you would have a Flutter library or examples in Flutter, we would try to be, as language agnostic as possible. So what I mean by language agnostic is we'll try to focus on techniques. So it doesn't really matter which programming language you are using, you should still be able to use those techniques because most of the techniques revolve around writing prompts, well, there are some that would, if you have a library to be more useful. We're actually going to zero in on 2 or 3 libraries. One of them will be a TypeScript library. The other one will be Python for front-end developers. But for mobile developers, interestingly enough, we already have a lot of libraries, both in iOS and in Android that have intelligence. So you now learn how to use those libraries. But it's really about the techniques, right? And those techniques, you should be able to apply them in almost any programming language. But in terms of, yeah, will you see specific examples? Yes, you will see examples, and you'll be able to build your own. So it's not just, this is a hands-on, code camp is always hands-on. So you come out of it not just knowing how to do it, but doing it and having examples of what you have done to showcase to any other person. Hope that helps.
Okay, thank you, sir. So you mean that it's AI for developers and I'm not creating any AI from scratch?
Creating AI from scratch, that is machine learning core. For those who
All
want to
right, okay.
build, yes, that's machine learning core. That's the first one. But AI for developers is using what people have created to imbue into your product intelligence.
All right, thank you so
So I
much, sir. I
think,
appreciate it.
yeah, so I think another thing we can do is actually clarify more on those so that people will know what choices, or they can fine tune their choices. Even if you may have made a choice already, you can still go back and choose again. So maybe
Yeah,
if
no,
somebody else doesn't ask another question, we can do that. Or Lawrence, you can go ahead and talk about the second one, so it will be
yeah,
clearer.
so
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. I think it's one of the good thing about this thing is that it actually helps to clarify certain things. So let me I don't know how to go about. Okay, let me talk about the tools first, right? Before I now talk about generally this whole AI thing. So the tools is basically you don't need, as far as you can type, right? That's the prerequisite. Okay. Why is the tool important? Why have we covered this also? We have covered this also because of the fear. There is a global fear that AI is going to take over people's job. So there is no need, allowing that fear, to dominate the usefulness of AI. Therefore, what it means is that a smart person, okay, will be able to augment it into his own productivity. Simple. So AI tools and application is, we are going to look at all those things that will make you, more effective, in your jobs. You can be an accountant, you can be a medical person and everything. So you are not going into the core, right? So whatever the people that learn the machine learning has produced and kind of launch, we can actually use them. So just to make it simple, so of course the one that is everybody knows is ChatGPT. But the thing is that when you're attending a course, for instance, like this, you get to hear more things that, oh wow, I didn't know that ChatGPT can do this thing. That's what you should be expecting. For the fact that, oh, nice, I was talking to someone the other day and we were able to generate a table, basically said, ChatGPT can do a table. I know some of you know about that, something like that. So there are a lot of Cloudy, the Anthropic from, there's a company called Anthropic. They have Cloudy, Gemini, of course, people know Google, Perplexity AI, Notion AI. For those of you that are familiar with Copilot, also Microsoft, Jasper, copy.ai, sorry. You have right, Sonic. Then when you come to the creativity, the creatives and the designs, and of course, Canva is there. Nobody can remove it. There's Midjourney, there's Adobe Firefly, photo AI and all that. So even in the video editing, you have Pika, Synthesia and all that. So these are tools. We cannot exhaust it here, but I'm telling you that there are tools that can help you with some of these things. That's the truth. Documents, you have Airtable. Of course, we used Airtable before. Zapier and so on and so forth. There are more than 30 tools that are going to, kind of, so that, oh wow, okay. I just that particular question, like, okay, I think I can do this. So when you go back to your office, where it's not really about code, and you'll be able to do a lot of things. It empowers you, right? If you look at the brochure that we produce, a lot of things that brochure is from the AI, from the pictures and everything, prompting and stuff. So yeah, that is what it's all about. Maybe if I have another opportunity, I will not talk about the AI global landscape, because at least let me allow other people to ask questions. if I have enough time, one of the things people should go home with is let this AI thing be clear in your eye. I'm going to like talk about the AI global landscape, starting from the bare metal, from the infrastructure down to the applications. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Lawrence and Engineer Niabet. Okay, so we'll go to the next person. So I'm just going to take, so we have 5. So it's just going to be 5, and then I'll get to questions on the Google form. So Janet, please go ahead with your question.
Okay, good evening. Good evening, sirs. Good evening, everyone. Okay, so I think engineer just touched a part of what I'm about to ask because yeah, I think one thing I've understand about AI is that it's tempting. You feel like you want to know everything, you want to learn everything. So for somebody that is just coming to learn, you feel lost on what to learn, which part of AI to learn. So I just feel like how can you help in structuring people's like thoughts, like directing their thought on what they should learn because everything seems like what I want to learn. I want to do this, I want to do that. So I'm just like, okay, can you just like help in, directing the thought of I want to, this suits me better or this will work for me or what I think I want to do in future. That's basically what I want to ask. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I'll bring back Engineer Niabet for this particular one. Engineer Niabet, please, over to you.
Okay. Can you hear me? I hope we're not getting a lot of background noise because
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you clearly.
okay. So the question of what should I learn? It's not just AI, right? Even a lot of developers that a lot of people that come into tech for the first time, right? There's always that question of where should I start? Should I do front end? Should I do back end? Even when you say I want to do front end, should I do React? Should I do Vue.js? Or should I do DevOps? There's always that question, right? And a lot of people actually get hung up on that and are unable to move forward. Oh, I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to go and do something that I don't like and all that kind of stuff. So the way I always guide people in that situation is the same way I would guide you in this situation, right? Know yourself first. What I can do is help to kind of give general form, or guideline on what you should choose. Now, let's start with the first one, machine learning core. The general guideline for me there is if you are interested in delving into the nitty-gritty of how machine learning models are designed, built, and trained. That's one. Then from a requirement standpoint, you have to have I use the word brain, right? And that doesn't mean that people who don't pick it don't have brains, right? So please don't misquote me. But you have to have the brain for that kind of thing or the interest for that kind of thing because that requires a lot of mental maths. It requires understanding linear algebra and all that kind of stuff. Of course, you can actually do it without having to understand linear algebra because there are a lot of libraries now that take all of that away from you. But you still will not be able to be in touch with the base or the basics of the thing if you don't understand it, like learning first principles, right? If somebody tells you that if you multiply 25 by 25 625 and you just take it versus if you know the process that answer was arrived at. So there are people that want that, okay, and are ready for it. So go for that. That is the first one, machine learning core. The second one, which is AI applications and tools, right? I think Lawrence has done a good job expanding on that. That is for people who basically I just want to use AI to improve what I am currently doing, right? And what I'm currently doing is non-code, is non-developer kind of stuff, right? It's basically everybody else that is not a developer, but you want to multiply your productivity by 10, by 50, by 100. So you go use those tools. he mentioned a lot of things. He mentioned starting from ChatGPT, talking about all of the tools, Claude, Gemini, and then all the creatives, Midjourney, and so many things. So there is no way you will not fit into that. But you find that, funny enough, a developer can still take that one, right? If he wants to learn how to build apps, rather, not if you want to build out, you want to learn how to build apps, but rather if you want to learn how to use ChatGPT, for example, or Copilot, or even the latest one from OpenAI, which they call Codex, to like improve the speed of your coding, you can still go for that. But for me, if you're a developer and your focus is on learning AI so that you can improve your skills or your productivity, not skills, and I'm going to talk about that. You are improving your productivity, not your skills. Even they can help you with your skills, but you want to improve your productivity as a developer, then you go for the third one, which is AI for developers, right? Then agentic AI is basically, I want to learn how to write agents. But like Engineer Tony has said, that requires you to already know how to code, because you're not going to be able to write agents if you don't know how to code. Same thing with AI for developers. You already have to be a developer, right? For you to be able to make use of AI in your products or in your code or in your projects. So, but the AI application and tools is for, I would just say, anybody else that is not a developer, but you want to really improve your productivity. That's what that is. Then the last one, the computer vision, is computer vision. A lot of people don't think that computer vision is important, or is even AI, or is even machine learning. But I know in those old days, before neural networks really became very powerful, as it is now, we used to use there's a library called CV and CV2, which used some heuristics and mathematical formulas and all of that to do computer vision. But neural networks also overturned that. So you now have all the yellows and yellow version 1 to 4, 5, 6, and so on for computer vision, right? It is still AI. It still uses neural networks and a bit of other AI just for vision. And vision is very even though it's kind of specialized course or area of study or area of expertise, but there is a huge demand for it as well. Because when you talk about self-driving cars, that's computer vision. When you talk about robots, that's computer vision, right? When you even talk about imaging, and detection using images or using video streams and so on, that is computer vision. So in fact, we need a lot more people in computer vision as well. So I hope that helps you, right? You really just need to know what to choose. But I want to end with this. Whichever one you choose, it is not a mistake. So don't get so fearful that, oh, am I, just pick something. It is a starting point, right? The some of them have prerequisites, like I've said. Even the machine learning requires a prerequisite that at least you have to know one programming language. So basically, for those who don't have any background in programming, probably the second one, AI application and tools, is where to start, because if not, you are going to be learning programming at the same time. Okay, so I hope that helps. But at the end of the day, right, as far as I'm concerned, what matters is become AI literate. That is the start of a journey. This is not the end. It is the start of a journey. After now, there will be another opportunity. There will be other opportunities. By the way, I forgot to mention that the fact that we're doing KodeCamp 5X AI, cohort or bootcamp does not mean it is the end. Going forward from 6.0, we will have AI as part of the tracks that we will have in KodeCamp. So if you did something in this 5X and you want to do something else, you can still do it in 6.0. In fact, I'm going to say this, even though maybe IK might counsel me for saying this, but typically in KodeCamp, we don't let people do more than one track, right? But you can actually observe other tracks. So you can choose one and still attend classes in the other ones. Yes, you will not be certified for those other ones. You will only be certified for one, but knowledge is knowledge. So what is more important is the knowledge. So pick one, and then you can just, join classes for the other ones, and you learn. You can learn as much as you can carry. So that, I hope, helps. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Niabet. And yeah, you're right. So there's no canceling there. Of course, you can observe other tracks, but you just will not be certified. Okay, so we have Laz. Can you please go ahead with your question? And if your question, in some way has been answered, you can actually just drop your hand. Let's go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. I think Engineer Anibet touched a bit of my question, but I just want specifics. So I'm under machine learning and data science and machine learning core. So my question is, how much programming knowledge, Python, I think, do I need for I'll be able to start? Or yes, that's the question. How much do I need before I'll be able to take the course? Thank you.
Okay, Engineer Niabet.
Okay, so how much Python do you need to know for you to write a script? That's how much Python you need to know. You need to know how to basically write Python code on your own. By the way, even if you are not a Python programmer, right? Remember, I didn't specify Python. For machine learning core, you just need to have programming background, even if it wasn't Python. And the reason for this is this. Python is like one of the simplest programming languages to learn. So if you have learned JavaScript, or you have learned, C sharp, or, C++, or, Node.js, whatever else, you have learned, right? It's not that difficult to come into Python. So um, it doesn't mean if you didn't learn Python, you cannot pick it up. You will pick it up, right? But you have to have programming background, because what matters most is not really the syntax. It is your understanding of core programming concepts. When we talk about things like loops, you know, conditions, conditionals, when we talk about arrays, when we talk about data structures, when we talk about algorithms, right? When we talk about tensors and all of kind of stuff, these are programming concepts, and they are not specific to any particular programming language. That is where it becomes difficult if you did not have a background. Okay. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that answers that question. Emmanuel, please go ahead with your question. Hello, Emmanuel, are you on the call? Kubianga. Hope I got that right. Okay.
Hello, good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to unmute before. My question goes like this. So, I'm new to Camp Code, and as a product manager, I wanted to ask if this is the right place for me because initially the track I picked was AI application and tools. So I wanted to ask if this track helps me develop myself as a product manager. So that's my question.
Okay, I think that question goes to Engineer Lawrence Akugwe. Engineer Lawrence, don't know if you got that.
I got it very well. Yeah, so yeah, this is the right place for you. First of all, who is a product manager? Is somebody that manages every process that leads to product development, including the people equally. In fact, after the CEO of a company, product manager is like a CEO also. Yeah, like you are trying to interpret the CEO's dream. Some CEOs are people that have money, they have the vision. Some of them, their job is to actually set everything in motion. But most of them actually double as well product managers. But if a CEO happens not to be that kind of guy, there are some people that are not very good at taking something from start to finish. Then that's where you step in. In fact, you have a high play because first of all, you interpret the design, you understand the whole thing. You can even criticize the design on behalf of the CEO, on behalf of yourself. If you are the CEO, you are able to bring the team together. In fact, your job is actually there, like the rallying point, okay, where everybody comes in to meet the program, the product from raw material to a finished product. Now, why do you need the AI tools? How do you manage this whole thing? Are there tools that you're going to use to manage? The answer is absolutely yes. Can it be faster? The answer is yes, right? Can you multiply? I never used the term, can you multiply your productivity? Why not? You can multiply your productivity. So some of the tools you are going to be using, we have mentioned, some of them already. So I think in order not to waste time, right, in answering your question, I think, yes, this is a place to be. I think you don't need to go into development or going to learn Python and all those kind of things. So yeah, I think the answer to your question, someone like you be using ChatGPT as well. So sometimes also I think I might have to call engineer Tony also in. You might be the kind of person that might develop an agent to be able to augment your process. So I think I'll call engineer Tony. So somehow agentic stuff is something that product manager should actually pay attention to. So engineer Tony, if you can come in here, because it's equally important that you can, because I've heard that you can actually observe other classes. So it might be helpful to you also, So maybe after engineer Tony speaks, you might now decide, okay, maybe I should even go straight to the agent and all that. So I have to make it open because this is a place where people kind of, get enlightened and make better. So, Ike, I'll go back to you. Maybe you can call in Tony at this point.
Yeah, that's fine. Engineer Tony, can you just say a bit of words before we go to the next question?
Okay. Essentially, agents are applied in everywhere. Agents can be applied everywhere. Even as a product manager can use agents. Essentially, the thing just across board, right? AI tools you can use to improve your productivity. Somebody builds those tools, and powering those tools are machine learning models, AI models. So the people in AI core, machine learning core, would train and develop those models. The people in developers would embed the capability of those models in products that become the tools that the productivity tools that somebody would use. And those models include computer vision models. Now, agentic AI is about automating the processes of using these tools. Instead of, for example, okay, just give an example of a process that you would go through as a product manager, and then we can look at how you can use an agent in that process.
Okay. Processes like planning sprints and assigning roles to your development team, and even checking the KPIs of your product, tracking progress and all of that.
Okay, so typically you would do this manually. You are planning a sprint, what is to be achieved in this sprint. You are assigning roles and tasks to the different members of your team based on your capability, their capabilities, and based on what needs to get done, right? Now, if you could automate this process if you have an agent where you've provided the context, the knowledge of this is the work that needs to be done. The agent has the capability of deciding how best to split that work, also taking into account the members of your team, their specific capabilities, their specific let's just use capabilities. So the agent can automate that process. Instead of you to start doing it manually, the agent can just go ahead, do that, automate the process. Of course, the agent can also can have a human in the loop where you can cross-check what the agent has done, and you can tell it to go ahead, or it can be without a human in the loop, as the case may be, right? And then the agent can also monitor the progress of that. So essentially, an agent automates the things that you would do manually, or you could semi-automate it, depending on how the agent is built, freeing you, the human. There are certain things that are repetitive. There are certain things that really they are more like a waste of human intelligence for you to be doing. And if these are things that the computer could do, but typically you would have to instruct it, do this one, do that one. An agent would automate this. Yes, you can also automate it without an agent, but typical automation without agents, without intelligence, will follow I'm trying to avoid using a jargon, a fixed path. When this happens, do this. When this happens, it is fixed. But the agent is flexible enough that even when I'm trying to find a way of explaining this without using a jargon, it's flexible that even pathways that you hadn't thought about clearly, an agent can reason through them and take some action, thereby leaving you to be free to think on the global level and use the human intelligence where machines machines in this case include computers, really are not well suited for. The human brain is very powerful, but if you use the human brain to do some tasks that are mundane or repetitive, it's really a waste of human intelligence. So the agent more like frees you, automates those things that don't necessarily need human intelligence, freeing the human brain to now focus on the things where really a human must be involved in. So the agent can be involved even in your product development, right? And I must say that as a product developer, as a product designer, it helps if you have some knowledge of coding, if you have some knowledge of software development, because it makes you better able to understand the developers that you'll be working with and makes you a better product manager, a better product designer in the long run. Just as for a developer, it's good to also have an idea of product management, of product design. That way you better be able to work with the different members of your development team, some of whom would not be or might not be developers. If you really understand what they do, the processes that they use, you'll be better able to collaborate with them, and you'll be a better developer or a better product manager or a better product designer in the long run.
Okay, I have one more question. Now, regarding on the integration of the agent tool, can it help get user feedback for your product easily, or probably get like identify some issues on your product?
Well, getting user feedback typically involves the user providing some feedback, right? But you could have an agent that would collect that user feedback and try to do some sort of analysis of that feedback and provide you with the results of the analysis, something that you would have had to do manually typically. You could also have an agent that would actually test your product, automating the testing. So the possibilities are really endless. It depends on, it's typically limited by your imagination and the current capabilities of the models powering that agent.
All right, thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you very much, Engineer Tony. While I have you, I'm just going to read out a question from the form that's still that is within your track. So someone asked, what programming languages or tools are we using? The person said, I mean, I can see the frameworks like LangChain and AutoGPT or the brochure, but you said we need to be a software developer and have knowledge in ML. So the person is asking what programming languages and tools will be used for the agentic AI training.
Well, we will be working with Python, but you don't have to know Python to join the track. As long as you know some programming language, that's fine. Like Engineer Niebiet mentioned before, if you're already a developer, if you can already write code in some programming language, Python is not difficult to learn. We are using Python because Python is most AI work really is done the most popular language for AI machine learning work is Python. But the same processes, the same workflows that you use in Python, you could also use with TypeScript. For example, LangChain, you mentioned LangChain. It has Python APIs. It also has TypeScript APIs. So we are not restricting you that you must know Python, but you must have programming knowledge. You must be able to write code in some language. That's what makes you able to follow up the track. Because if you don't have programming knowledge ab initio, you would not be able to learn building agents. I must disambiguate here. There are no code tools for building workflows. Those are not really agents because when things get complicated, those no code tools become an issue to work with. And they tend to be, the term is still coming, they tend to be deterministic, following predetermined paths. But the AI agent, really, that you build with code is very flexible. It does not have to follow predetermined paths. Yes, you can build it to follow predetermined paths, but the beauty of it is that it's flexible and it can handle previously unforeseen situations and still be able to provide some value. So essentially, you just need to know some programming language, even though we'll be working with Python, but Python is not so difficult to pick up if you already know programming. And we'll be working mostly with the LangChain and its ecosystem of frameworks.
Okay, thank you very much. So we just have two people for two hands that are raised. After that, we'll go straight to just focus on the questions that have been filled from the form. So we have Judith. So Judith, please go ahead with your question quickly.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, so my question is, for somebody interested in machine learning, is there any specific system requirements the person needs to have in terms of laptop specification?
Okay, Engineer Ebert, I will hand this over to you.
Sorry, please, I missed the tail end of the question. Can you take it again?
Okay, Judith, please take that again.
Okay, so my question is for somebody interested in machine learning, is there a specific system requirement in terms of laptop specification the person needs to have? Because I had a conversation with somebody recently and it was like, you need to have so amount of system requirements, like in terms of storage, and that's internal and external storage.
Yeah, well, so the thing is, if you want to train models locally on your laptop, right, you typically want to have a laptop that has a GPU because most of the modern models that are based on neural networks, if you want to train a model to do anything significant, it's going to have a lot of parameters. Basically, it's going to be very large in size. So that's the first thing, the model itself. Then secondly, data that you are pulling in to train those models will also be very large. So typically storage is key for the, when we talk of large amounts of data, You have to have large storage. But yeah, if you want to train, you have to have fast. You can actually still train with a weak system, right? The only thing is that it will take years for your models to converge or to learn anything meaningful. So typically, if you want to do experimentation, you want to iterate very fast. You want to quickly try something, train it, and quickly see the results and all of that. So to answer your question directly, having a laptop or a desktop that has a GPU and has a lot of storage and has a lot of RAM is an added advantage for you. It means you can do things faster. But not having it doesn't mean you cannot have you cannot be part of the training. The only thing is we now have to figure out how you can use cloud resources. A lot of free cloud resources. In those days, there used to be a lot. You could even get GPUs on Google Colab and so on. But I think a lot of people have abused it. So you can still use Google Colab, even though Google Colab may not give you a GPU, right? But you can get some high-end CPUs. But you can even get some old, like vintage old GPUs like V100s or P100s, maybe even A100s, right? Which you can still use to do your training. So to answer your question, yes, it is an added advantage to you, right? But it's not a showstopper. You can still learn. And for the things that we will be taking in this course, because it's more of a beginner's course, we will not beginners to ML, right? We are not going to try to do too many heavyweight stuff. We may do heavyweight training later on, but in that situation, we can look at using doing it as a team and looking at how we can provision such compute and storage. But for me, we are deliberately going to make this training as low barrier as possible about the techniques. Even though when it comes to training at scale and large models, yes, there are also some additional techniques and technicalities involved, which you may only learn by actually doing it and facing those situations, right? So we will also try that. So I hope that helps. It's good if you can get it, but if you cannot get it, it's not a showstopper.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Nebet. So we'll move to Ndifreke. Ndifreke, please go ahead. Hello, Johnson Ndifreke, are you there? Okay, I think I'll just move on to Emma. So Emma will just replace you. So I don't know if it's Emma or Emma. Emma is feminine, Emma is male. So which one is it?
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
So it's
Is
Emma,
Emma?
right? Okay, so
Yes.
that's male. Female is Emma. Okay, go ahead with your question.
So my question is, the program, is it about making an AI agent that does some stuff, or
Sorry,
like
take that again, please.
I said like, is the program about making an AI agent that does that helps products like works as an agent, like an AI agent, something like that, that helps in to market produce.
That helps to market what?
Product.
I think you joined at a time when someone asked the question of the product manager. So the program is not only about building agents, right? So I think you probably joined a bit late, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's not just about building agents, right? There are a whole lot of other things. There's the ML part of things. There is the AI for developers. There is the AI tools, right? So it's not only about agentic building agents that will market products. I don't think that was mentioned in any way. So it seems you still need a bit of clarity. The video is recorded, right? So it's something you could just join when it will be uploaded on our YouTube page on KodeCamp team, right? So you could just go back and then watch it so that you have a bit broader information. There are certain things we can't really go back to because of time constraints. Okay, thank you very much, Ima. Yes. So Johnson, you can go ahead now.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I would like to find out because I listened to Engineer Nyabiet. He said the program is they're going to structure it in such a way that it's almost a no barrier for all interested parties. But now, if a person that is interested in ML does not have any programming skill or has not learned any programming language, could that be a problem, or there is a way the person can cope with the program?
Okay, I think I'll allow Engineer to answer this. Engineer,
Yeah, so it will be a problem. So when I talked about no barriers, I was talking about hardware, right? I wasn't talking about prerequisite knowledge. Prerequisite knowledge, like I've said before, and Engineer Tony also mentioned it for agentic. You need to have some programming background. If you don't have programming language background, you can try to wing it, right? But you'll be struggling because you are struggling on two fronts. You are struggling on understanding programming and programming concepts, and then you're struggling to understand machine learning and machine learning concepts. So if you want to take that, that journey, that's okay, right? I'm not going to tell you don't. But what I would even advise, if there was such a person that wants to do that, is just quickly go now and take a crash course in Python. Go and take a crash course on Udemy or somewhere. Go and take a crash course in Python, because it will not be easy for you. You will not find it funny, because we will not explain any Python, right? We are only going to explain machine learning concepts. So you have to have some background, and you have difficulty writing the code and all of that. So it's better for you, right, if you had a programming background. So that is a prerequisite, okay? And it is best for everyone to have that prerequisite. But if you want to try it, because it sounds to me like you don't have, right? Maybe you're speaking for yourself and you want to try it, then I don't like to discourage people, but it's still a prerequisite. So you have to now quickly go and get yourself up to speed on Python.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer. I hope that actually that response clarifies things for you. Okay, so let's move on to a few questions on the. So I'm just going to pick up a few so that we can leave the space in the next 10 minutes max, right? Some of these questions I've seen, we're going to actually respond to them on Discord, right? Some of them are they're actually questions you should actually ask when you get into the class, right? So I'll just skip some of them, but one of the things we're going to do is that I'll talk about Discord later. Some of these responses will also be dropped on Discord, right? So it's something you can easily just scroll up to and get. So I'm just going to pick a few questions, right? Okay. Okay, I think I'll give this question to Engineer Okoro. So someone's asking, how difficult is it to learn about AI as a software developer?
How difficult it is to learn about AI as a software developer?
Yes.
Well, difficulty is relative, right? Everything is easy and also difficult. It depends on you. It really depends on you. So there's no there's no black and white answer to that question. It's really more about shades of gray. It depends on the person learning and the resources available for learning.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so it's actually
Let me add here that on
go
our
ahead.
part, we are available to provide those resources. And like Engineer Anibet mentioned, we are trying to lower the barrier as much as possible. So that part of available resources, we are covering that part as much as we can. So essentially, it really depends on the person learning.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Engineer wants to respond to this also. Engineer, go ahead.
So without scaring anybody, I want to answer that question by saying it's very difficult, so that you just prep your mind for it. That way, if you're not ready for it, then you don't come, because and when I say this, right, I'm talking about machine learning, the core, right? Other ones are not as tough. I have to be very honest. In most other cases, you are basically using an application, apart from agentic, right, or and computer vision. So these three are similar in that way. Agentic, in fact, agentic, computer vision, machine learning core, and AI for developers. Basically, it requires you to be able to hold large amounts of information in your brain and manipulate it mentally. That's how I would characterize it. That's a difficulty, and it's the same kind of difficulty that you have as a programmer, or maybe even a product designer, maybe, right? But at the end of the day, it really boils down to you doing something that is in unfamiliar territory if you have not done it before. So I don't think it's really about the difficulty. It's more about your grit. Yes, that word again. It's about your grit and how familiar is the territory. If it is something you're already familiar with, it's easier. It's easier. But if it's something that is totally new, like for example, you were doing product management and you are switching to um, machine learning core. Basically, there are very few things you will carry over. There's very few knowledge that you carry over from one to the other. You will almost be learning everything new. So the workload, the mental workload for you will be more than for somebody who already has some prior knowledge. That's why we say prerequisite is programming and so on, right? And if you have some mathematics knowledge as well, it helps because there's going to be mathematics in machine learning core, right? There might not be mathematics in AI for developers or in building agents or in even in computer vision. I don't know, but there will definitely be mathematics in machine learning core. So the issue is the less the amount of new things your brain has to learn, the easier the pathway will be for you. But the more the new things that your brain has to learn, the more challenging the pathway. But that doesn't mean you cannot surmount it. That is where grit comes in. So at the end of the day, it's still your choice, really.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Beth. So I have a question for Engineer Lawrence, but before then, Daniel, are you still on the call? I have a question for you. Hello, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. So someone
Hello?
is asking, yes, I can hear you. So someone is asking, I picked computer vision. Do I need to have knowledge of mathematics to learn this? Did you get that? Hello, can you hear me? Okay, so I think he's having a bit of a network challenge. Janet, I don't know if you can also help out with this.
Okay. Okay, so I can try, right? The the answer actually depends on what Daniel has planned in his curriculum. But typically, right, computer vision does require a bit of maths, right? But it's not that much, not as much as machine learning core. You're not going to do back propagation or stochastic gradient descent or any of those things, right? So I would say it is It
Hello?
is minimal. It is minimal.
Hello?
Okay, Daniel is here, so Daniel can answer. Go ahead, Daniel. Did you get the
Yeah,
question?
yeah. I said like you don't explicitly need mathematics because I think like in today's world in computer vision space they've like helped us in building like these libraries which literally like does most of this work for us. But if you want to like be really really good and really deep into computer vision, the point where you build your own libraries, you build your own things, not just building models, but building your own libraries and like doing in-depth research with computer vision, then you have to 100% know math, like everything. You need to know calculus, linear algebra, metrics, and the rest. But for this session, we having there's no lot of math that is needed. I think highest we would need is matrices. Maybe we talking about pulling layers, math pulling, but not much. Like they're just simple mathematics. So we like, especially the computer vision part. I'm like trying to find a way to dodge the math. If you want to like go deep into math, then you should join the AI, the ML core. I think that's what you're going to do all the mathematics. Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much that. Yeah, for the computer vision part, I don't think you need a lot of math. Just you're good. You're good.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think that answers the question. A little bit of math, but not something life-threatening, if I can say that. Okay, so we'll just take two questions because of our time. Like I said, one of the things we'll do is responses to most of these questions, right, will be dropped on the Discord, right? I'll talk about that after the last two questions. Okay, so this particular question goes to Engineer Lawrence. Lawrence Akubwe, right? So someone is asking, I'm a UI UX designer. How well can I integrate AI into my workflow to improve my skills rather than replacing them? Engineer Lawrence, over to you.
All right, thank you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, so yeah, very good question. Actually, I think this is the essence of the whole AI thing. So that I like that best last part. Yeah, you need to augment your creativity, right? Let me tell you the truth. AI can't yet replace human intuition. Okay, that human intuition, at least of now until they go into their what's it called? Is the there's this word that they are looking general artificial general intelligence, something like that. So until they go, but yet we are yet to get there. But so that means okay, there is still one step to that. So that one step means augmenting, right? The human intuition is always the human intuition. So let me talk about your workflow because your question came in a very particular, and I need to address it. So what's your workflow? First of all, user research. Okay, I want to answer it the way it came. If you're talking about user research, right, do you know you can use perplexity and elicit to summarize user feedback? Just imagine if you get a lot of things and you give a prompt like, summarize the top 5 frustrations users have with our onboarding experience. Do you know that if you feed in, these are the kind of revelations you're going to see in the course of this thing. If you fill in your document that you already gathered, you can actually get a very insightful. For instance, I'm just giving you an example. Give me the top 5 frustrations. It has started though, right? So talking about Notion AI and all that. What is the other user workflow? I'm sure as a designer, there's going to be some kind of ideation and concept generation. If you have heard of ideogram, if you heard of Midjourney, okay, you have heard of have you heard of Gamma, have you heard of Runway ML? So even ChatGPT as well. I like ChatGPT is almost everywhere, Sha. You can generate design mood boards, and all that. I'm just giving you example. For instance, you can equally say, okay, generate 5 UX and concept for budgeting app, something like that. So that is where people actually use more of this thing. But like the first one I talked about, I'm sure probably something that you look into. What of wireframing? Because you're talking about your workflow. I'm sure that wireframing and prototyping is part of your workflow. I'm sure you have heard of Figma AI as well. Auto design, Galileo, things like that. Okay. It turns text prompt into sketches. Okay, so sometimes it is not giving you those sketches as a final, but sometimes it gives you as a starting point so that you don't think tabula rasa. Tabula rasa is like you are trying to build something from nothing. But most of the time, human brain is critical in nature. That like critical means you criticize what you see, but you cannot criticize what you don't see. So criticize is not like talking bad about it. Criticizing like in the sense of criticism means like when you see this thing, you can begin to say, okay, maybe it can become better. That's what I mean. No, I'm not talking about making argument or saying that something is bad. So critical when you have like a pedestal to kind of like a tarmac to take off with the flight. So that's something that you need to consider. And remember that also, as part of design, you have to have user test, UX evaluation, and all those guys. It's part of your own flow, right? Now, there's what they call UX pilots. These are things also, even ChatGPT Vision as well. Okay, you can upload an interface screenshot and ask for heuristic feedback. I'm sure that you're shocked that these kind of things are very. You can see that in your workflow, there are a lot of. I'm not here to teach this, but of course, you have content, microscopy design, and all that. You now have design system and documentation. These are part of your workflow. Data-driven design decisions. Talk about. I might not teach you Power BI actually. Sorry, Power BI. You have to pay. This I don't do such courses without Naira Google. Sorry. Very soon I'm going to be launching a course called Power Platform, where I looked at Power Automate, Power BI, Power Query, Power Pages, and I'm going to launch that course next year. So please, it's not going to be cheap, Sha. So I'm going to skip that that aspect of it. So let me continue with your workflow: creative expansion, personal development. Okay, you have the Gemini. It's very good at that. ChatGPT again comes in. So these are all things that you can use. I going through the workflow. I don't know, probably if you have already standardized your workflow, but I know generally you're going to do research as part of it. You're going to do ideation. You're going to be doing wireframing, testing, content, documentation, and analytics. The answer to your question, I've already given you just a tip of the iceberg, right? Some of the things you can do. So we are going to get to work, you understand? And with projects, we are going to go to specifics and you can see how we could apply this. Right now, what we are going to be doing is for everybody. I'm not going to narrow it down to specifically designers. So what am I encouraging you to do? Please ask questions because even Lawrence does not know everything. So AI, like I like what Tony said, is you can go as I can't remember how he put it, as high as your imagination could go. So let me tell you, our class can be as interesting as our collective imagination could carry us. You understand? I am entering this team with excitement without any limitation. I want you to remove all limitation. We're going to enter this journey. We're going to try us, we are going to push ourselves to any limits, so that at the end of the even the person, even Lawrence will come out and say, wow, I am glad I did this. Thank you. That's the best way to answer the question. Ike, thanks.
Okay, I think John Tony wants to add to that. John Tony, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that as a product designer, you can even go as far as prototyping your design using tools like Replit. Can even go that far. So that a design that you can present that people can interact with can go that far prototyping that design.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so we have one last question. It's a series. Okay. So Ima, please just no, don't unmute. Don't unmute if I didn't call you to. Just drop it on the chat, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Just drop it on the chat. I think it can be responded to there, please. But let's just drop this because of time. Because of time, we're way past our time. So the last question is a series, and I'll hit it at Engineer, but I'll just run through it. And of course, if it's done, Engineer Tony, Engineer Lawrence, if you have something to chip in, yeah, you can actually do that, right? So here is the question. Like I said, it's a series, so everyone let's pay attention, right? So the first question in that series is, when did AI start? That's the first question. Now, followed by, should you share your personal information with AI? That's the second question in that series. First question, when did AI start? The next question is, should you share your personal info with AI? Right now, and then the third one, will AI eventually take over the world? That's the third question in the series. And then the last question in that series is, do you think Nigeria can be in the AI race? Not Nigerians, but Nigeria. So, Engineer, we'll start with you. Over to you.
Okay. All right. The first question, when did AI start? I would even say AI started in the 19th century or even before the 19th century, when people used to think of artificial devices that demonstrated some intelligence. So, well, in people's minds and conceptually, right? Of course, once the whole computer revolution started, um, it was always leading to AI, right? But you can say that the real turning point where things that people could consider as artificial intelligence started sometime in the 1940s, right? So there were a bunch of ideas, a bunch of theories, a bunch of papers, a bunch of people trying to do so many things that kind of converged, right? So you hear of a lot of different people that contributed, their ideas. So, for example, there was somebody that came up with the theory around neuroscience, the way the brain works. Even of course before then we had all of these computers, those huge mainframe computers in those days. Mainframe computers allowed us to, start trying to do more complicated things than just, you know, calculating zeros and ones. Cloud Shannon, information theory. But I think the real turning point was a man called Alan Turing that came up with what we now consider or call the Turing test, where he published a paper that um he tried to specify some characteristics that an intelligent agent would demonstrate that will make it indistinguishable from a human being. In other words, if you were blindfolded or something and you were to interact with this thing, right, you will think it is a human being. So that's what we now call a Turing test. And I think that kind of led a lot of people to try to, break that challenge of, let's see how we can pass the Turing test. So you keep hearing of passing the Turing test. There was a lot of work on neuroscience and, psychology, how the brain works. But I think at some point, somebody came up with this concept of what we call a neuron, trying to represent it mathematically. So basically trying to replicate the neuron in a human brain, using a mathematical model. And that is when they started this thing they call a single layer perceptron, which is the beginning. Interestingly enough, the first foray into AI started with neural networks, right? Sometime in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. But after that, I think the computational power required for neural networks was so much, they couldn't really do a lot. So we now moved on to other methods of, machine learning systems. So you hear of all these other new things, sorry, all these other older things, what I call classical machine learning. So you hear of random forest, you hear of decision trees, you hear of you know support vector machines, and then you hear of all kinds of different things. Then you even hear of what we call expert systems, which is rule-based logic. In fact, what we call rule-based systems used to be a form of AI, where you just what Tony was talking about, where you write some specific rules. If this, then do that. If the other one, then do that. Then you have what we call expert systems. Expert systems were the ones that people actually download their knowledge. That's why it's called expert systems. The experts download their knowledge, and that knowledge is used. When I say download, not download as in they just write it down. They write it down, and that knowledge is codified into a set of rules, and it will appear like it's intelligent. So when we talk about AI, right, most people don't realize that AI is not just neural networks. It's not just about LLMs or all of that, but a whole lot of things. AI is not just about machine learning. Machine learning is just an area under AI. You have other things. You have what we call fuzzy logic, which these days nobody talks of fuzzy logic anymore. But that used to be a big thing in those days before neural networks took over. And then, so AI started in the middle of the 20th century, to answer that question in short. So let me move on today. I don't know if I should wait until or should finish all the questions before somebody else speaks, or maybe I just keep going. Okay, what's the guidance?
Just keep going, sir.
Okay, so the next question is, I'm looking for the next question. I think I was writing it down. Should you share personal info with AI? The answer is no. Should you share personal info with any random human being on the internet? The answer is no. So the same protocol applies, because whether you like it or not, right? People keep saying, and that's the third question, which that's more controversial. I'll talk about that, right? But people keep talking about AI. They forget that behind the AI are human beings. The same way that you and I are learning how to times 10 our productivity using AI. There are a lot of people who are trying to times 10, times 100 their, their nefarious ability to subvert people using AI. So for every AI that exists, there is somebody at the other end that is consuming what that AI is doing. So when you give your personal information, you're just making it easier for the person. So even though the truth of the matter is this question is not even relevant, like the AI already has your personal information. This is the truth. And even if it doesn't have, it will infer it. A lot of people don't know this. All the information that you have already shared on Facebook, right? AI, that is training data for AI, and the AI is already going to be able to extrapolate and fill in the blanks and get, that's what AI is good at. They are pattern recognition systems, basically. A neural network is basically a pattern recognition system. That's what human beings are. That's what a human brain is. So it will be able to recognize patterns, and it will be able to fill in the gaps. So anyway, don't give it more information that is necessary, right? So the answer to that is no. Don't share your personal info. Give you what you need what you need for it to give you the response that you need. But while doing that, especially when using these other tools, right, be aware of the risk involved. The risk is not the AI itself, right? The risk are the people, that may be behind the AI, in the cases where something fun is going on. So I'll pause here because Tony has his hands up.
I just wanted to add that some AI tools actually need that personal information to be able to be useful to you. So really, the question was asked like as if AI is one homogeneous entity, right? So the same way you would, like Engineer Nibe mentioned, the same way you would consider, okay, I can give this person my personal information, but I can't give this person my personal information. That's the same way you need to evaluate the specific AI tool and know which one you should provide any information to and what information we provide to that. But some AI tools actually require the context of that, your personal information, before they can be fully useful to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. So treat AI just like any other intelligent person, and potentially treat AI as an intelligent person that can also be turned against you, right? So there's a risk. I'm not saying be afraid of AI. I'm saying understand it, right? Understand the risk and only do the minimal. For some of us, if you were doing DevOps or system administration or security, cyber security, there's always this mantra: don't give more privilege or permission than is needed for the job. So don't give more information that is needed, right? And that's how I'll just end that one. Now, the next question, will AI eventually take over the world? See, my answer is no. Forget all these metrics that we are watching. Forget the matrix, right? The matrix is actually a metaphor for a different kind of problem. See, this world is very deep. There are a lot of people that don't even know the depth of this world. And AI is just a tool. AI is just a tool. In fact, I wanted to talk about hype cycle of AI, right? There's something we call hype cycle. Right now we are on the what do you call it? What do they call it? Um, that part of the hype cycle where everybody's having unrealistic expectations, right? I've forgotten the specific name. So there's a hype cycle around. Yeah, we are on this side climbing up towards the peak of inflated expectations. That's where we are with AI. A lot of people are hyping up AI. A lot of people are hyping up AGI. And I'm telling you, we will never achieve AGI unless we change the approach. One thing I can tell you for sure, if you like, take it to the bank, we will never achieve AGI with LLMs. We will not, because LLMs are language models. They do not model the world, they model the language representation of the world. And the language representation of the world is not the representation of the world. That is why if you listen to people like Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, the CEO, he's going to tell you that for AI to move to the next level, you need to you need to connect it to the real world. You need to connect it to physics. A language model does not know anything called gravity. You can ask it what is gravity to tell you the mathematical definition of gravity, but I'm not talking about mathematical definition of gravity. I'm talking about an intuitive understanding of gravity. And if you do not understand gravity, how will you come and take over the world? In what way? Like, what command will you give to people and tell people, okay, jump from this tall building, and it doesn't understand the gravity of the matter? That's a pun. But so and large language models are incapable of it, right? Let me give you a very good example. I am one of the contributors to an AI project called Lila Chess Zero. Lila Chess Zero is basically the second best chess playing engine in the whole world. And I'm a developer there. One of the things I do is I build what we call backends. A backend is basically an inference machine that is written to basically run the models. The models are trained using Python and TensorFlow, right? Even though we are moving to JAX now to train models, right? But one of my job, those TensorFlow and Python is too slow for chess engines. For basically for anything I use AI for fast, high-speed applications, Python is too slow. So sometimes you have to write inference with C language or C++, right? So I wrote the back end, what we call the back end, the inference engine in Objective-C for Mac minis, for Mac, basically M1, M2, and so on. Now, why am I bringing this up? There has been recent attempts to use LLMs to teach them to play chess, right? By the way, the most powerful chess engine in the world is Stockfish. So that's Lila Chess Zero is second after Stockfish. Now, the way the chess engines are built, especially something like Stockfish or Lila Chess Zero, is based on a search algorithm, basically a search algorithm that has a neural network at the end doing what we call inference, trying to understand a position and understand whether that position is a winning position or is a losing position. Then they use a search, what we call either Monte Carlo tree search, right? The PUCT variant of Monte Carlo tree search, which is PUCT, is probabilistic upper confidence bound. I'm talking too much jargon, so maybe I'll stop. Stockfish uses another search algorithm, which we call alpha beta search with minimax search with alpha beta pruning. So these engines are using highly optimized methods, and that's why they're very good. They are basically like, if you remember in chess, there was a time in 1992 or 3 or 4, I can't remember exactly, when the world chess champion then, the #1 chess player in the world, that's Garry Kasparov, played against a computer called Deep Blue. That computer is like primitive compared to the recent chess engines that play using neural networks. So now recently people started trying to use large language models to teach them chess. Of course, it's a language model. It doesn't really understand chess in that context. It's just the language. And they would say, oh, no. What we saw was that they could not even go far. They will be hallucinating and they'll be doing all kinds of things, right? So what am I saying? People will tell you AGI will come next year. Is a lie. We will not see, take my, if you like, bet, I will give you $1 million. We will not achieve AGI with LLMs. For us to achieve AGI, we need to change the methodology. We need to change the design of the neural networks. So if we are not so anything you hear about AGI right now is basically hype, unless there's somebody who has achieved it using a different approach and is just hiding it, which is possible also. Because AGI basically means artificial general intelligence. So that means that the neural network can do everything a human being can do. In other words, it matches human level intelligence. That's AGI in a wide, not just a wide range of things, in everything. What we have now is what we call ANI, which is artificial narrow intelligence. Artificial narrow intelligence is where AI is better than human beings in a few things. Specialized thing like chess playing or Go or any other thing that is specialized. Yes, we have a lot of that. But take those neural networks or those AI and put them in another kind of task and they will fail. Even though these days with the multimodal networks and multimodal LLMs and so on, you have a situation where it does appear that AI is beginning to become better than human beings in a lot of things. But you see, when it comes to especially Boston Robotics are doing very well. But funny enough, if you go study Boston Robotics, they are hardly using neural networks for their robots. I don't know how many of you have watched videos of Boston Robotics. Those robots that jump around and somersault like human beings. Those ones understand gravity, but they were not trained. They use a rule-based system. They use standard robotics, which is giving them specific rules and mathematical formulas. You get. So to now say I can take AI and train it in one thing and then put it in a robot and it can jump around or play football, brother, that's a long way to go. So AGI is still a long way. So think about it this way. Think about that you took a neural network, LLM or whatever, you trained it and it understood like ChatGPT, and then you used it to power a robot. Let that robot come and play football against you. It's now in the world where physics matters. You get. So we are still a long way from AGI. That's the long and short of it. And if we are a long way from AGI, we're a long way from ASI, which is the artificial super intelligence that people are saying that's when AI will take over the world. The only thing that I am afraid of is that there are bad guys who will use the power of AI to manipulate people. It's already happening. That is the one. And it's not AI is taking over the world. It's people who are times 10ing their own productivity, whether it's negative productivity or positive productivity using AI. There are people who are deceiving you right now on social media with, deep fakes of videos. These days, people, you just watch any video on social media, you don't know it's AI generated, it's all fake. That is the one that is scary, and that is the one that is already happening. Basically, there are bad people that will take over your time, your productivity. They'll brainwash you, they'll enslave you because you cannot differentiate between a real video and a fake video or a real voice note and a fake one. So that is my take on that. So at the end of the day, AI will not be good enough to take over the world because human beings, we have not yet even reached the peak of human capacity, right? We have not. So there are people in this world, though. Let me just tell you that we don't know. There are people in this world that can use their brains to do stuff which AI will be very far from. And then there's the matter of consciousness. We always try to reduce consciousness to some other concept or thing. You say, okay, consciousness is what? The latest one, when I was watching Flash, I normally watch science fiction. They said consciousness is a stream of tachyons. I say, what's that one again? So anyway, the long and the short of it is that no, sorry, I'm concerned, AI will not take over the world, but people who have power over AI will take over the world. The people who control AI are the ones that will take over the world if they have not already done so. Now, the last question, do you think Nigeria can be in the, because you said can be, yes, Nigeria can be in the AI race. Nigeria can be. Nigeria can be anything, right? But are we there? Is there any effort there? There are a lot of people who are going around. We are even forming AI associations here and there. People that don't even know how a neural network functions or what the risks are or what we can consider, what you may call, they don't even know what the hallucination means, right? In fact, recently there was something that was done, I wouldn't say that was quite on Tech Week, where people did a video, digital, what do you call it? That's more like video editing, that some lady did an AI thing and everybody is hyping it up till now. And even the highest levels of AI, so-called AI um um experts and what's the word now? They are now saying, "Oh, this is very nice. We would like to see the person that." How can someone as an AI expert, if you're an AI expert, you will know what AI is capable of and what it is not capable of. That's what makes you an AI expert because you have built it yourself. So if somebody tells you that, I can't remember what they called it, one lady, a Kwai-Bom lady that built, it was actually a video editing thing, but people are still commenting about it. So you have a lot of people who are going around, and that's the essence of having this KodeCamp 5X. We want everyone to really know what AI is. You need to really know what AI is and separate yourself from the hype. You need to separate your reality from the hype. And the only way you can do that is knowledge. So yes, Nigeria can be in the race, but right now we are very far from it. But hopefully, with things like what we are doing with KodeCamp 5X, and with people like you who are on this call who want to raise your game and your knowledge in AI, maybe at least if we have a pool of 10,000, 100,000 AI skilled people, then when Nigeria is ready and wants to go into the AI race, then everyone will be available for it. And by the way, when we talk of AI race, it's not just about the knowledge and the skills and the manpower. It's about what we call AI data centers. It is about the capacity, the compute capacity. We don't even have power. The total megawatts in Nigeria generated by PHCN is not enough to power one AI data center. It's impossible. So how do you want to even go there? We cannot even power one AI data center, right? With all those NVIDIA, B100 GPUs. If you recently, Elon Musk bought how many? Is it 100,000? Or is it, I can't remember the number of B100s. B100 is the latest NVIDIA chip, Broadwell. That's the latest NVIDIA GPU. They bought 100. I can't remember how many billion they spent on it, right? Just so that they can train XAI, Grok. They can train Grok fast enough to catch up with GPT-5. So these are the things we are talking about. Nigeria, we don't even know how to provide power. So how will we catch? But the only thing we can do, the best we can do is at least let us go on the soft side, which is capacity building, manpower, skills. We may not have the strength on the hardware side, which is compute and power. Okay, so I'll drop it at that point. I'll drop my mic, and if anybody else has anything to contribute.
Thank you very much, Engineer Nibet. I believe you have done justice to those questions. We are really out of time. But like I said, some of the questions on the form will be answered on the Discord. So I want to believe that everyone on this call, you have registered, for the training, right? And you should actually also be on Discord. If you are not on Discord, one of the things we'll do, we'll send out mails again just to ensure that we capture everybody. Now, as for dates, so there will be an onboarding. Now, there will be an onboarding on the 20th of October. Now, the essence of the onboarding is to help you to understand, get to know the tools that will be used for this training. Of course, the Discord, we don't want to assume. Yeah, of course, there are some persons who are coming from KodeCamp 5.0 or some persons who are already familiar with the tools in KodeCamp, but we will not work with that assumption, right? So the tools that will be used and everything you need to have and understand, right, for the actual training that will be done on the 20th of October. And of course, stay glued to our social media handles. We will always ensure that information is dropped there for you. So 20th of October is going to be the onboarding, and then classes will kick off on the 27th of October. Classes kicks off on the 27th of October. So mark that date. And yeah, so registration is also still on. Registration is on. So do well to invite others to register. Yeah, there are statements like AI is the future, but well, AI is here, so it's not really a futuristic thing. So the earlier you get on board, the better. So invite your friends, invite your family, invite your enemies, drop the links in the spaces, your text spaces, your WhatsApp groups, everywhere. If you know you want to capture people, this is like Engineer Beth said, one of the best we can do is capacity building, right? So help someone to actually build capacity, in AI. So further information about time of classes and all that you get to know during the onboarding, right? Where you also be introduced to the schedule, and the timetable and all that. But classes kicks off on Monday, 27th of October, and the onboarding, which you should not miss, is going to be on the 20th of October. So this will still be communicated on our social media handles. It will also be communicated via mail, and it will also be communicated on the Discord for those of us who are there. If you're not there, emails will still be sent out again within the course of next week, right? Maybe over the weekend and also during the course of next week. So do well to check your mails. Thank you guys so much. Thank you very much, Engineer Nyebet, Engineer Antonio Coro, Engineer Lawrence Akubwe, and of course, Mr. Daniel Etugudo. Thank you so much. And of course, to the host who transferred hosts to me, Imole Ayobiselu, who's the assistant program manager of KodeCamp. Thank you so much for putting this together. Yeah, she has been the driving force of this. So I will hand it over to her. So thank you very much. We'll call it a night. My name is Ikechukwu, and do have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye.